Hi, my name is Dan Loyd. I am a history and English teacher here at Allen Park High School, and I am your student's ELA 11 teacher. That welcomes me to Teacher Night. All right, first off, let me tell you, I know that this isn't as good as the real thing. I know. I know I would much rather have you sitting here in my classroom with me so I could answer questions that you may have and walk you through my class. But as some of the very wise students in my ELA 11 class have said to me, when life gives you lemons, we got to make orange juice. Okay, so that's what we're doing here is we're making some orange juice. Okay, so first off, I have to apologize. I know that I am a very loud person, and I'm also a very exuberant person. I'm very passionate about what I teach. I love history and English, and I love teaching. And I love getting a chance to work with your students on a day-to-day basis because that's what gets me excited. I'm very fortunate to be able to come in and do this job. And in the past, all right, it's only been my neighbors here at APHS, Mr. Bannock and Ms. Tomich, that have had the opportunity to complain about it. But now I realize I'm being beamed into your homes. All right, so if my over the top at times presentation has been a disturbance to you or your family, I absolutely am sorry. Okay, but at the same time, I can't promise that that's going to change. Okay, I do very much love what I do, and I'm very fortunate to get to do it. And kind of bringing the energy, bringing the excitement is a big part of who I am. And I don't think even if I wanted to, that I could stop that. So apologies. Maybe invest in a good set of headphones. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with a digital tour. So I'm going to take you around a few places that I have for your students. Okay, so first thing I want to take you places. This is my calendar. Okay, now you will notice off the bat that this is a very busy thing. I am not a volleyball player, nor am I a cheerleader. But that these are not my things. But I do have a lot of things going on here. But this is what keeps me organized. All right, and at the very beginning of the year, I gave your students an invitation to my Google Meet. If they clicked yes to that, okay, and I can send them another one. So ask them if they haven't. Okay, I can send them another one. They clicked yes to that. That will have automatically populated their Google Calendar. So if we look ahead, if they have me Wednesday, let's say for second hour, okay, that'll go for every Wednesday second hour. And more so, okay, it's going to give them, if they have the alerts enabled on their phone, it's going to give them an alert, okay, 10 minutes before class starts. Okay, so maybe they sleep in. Okay, if they're in my second hour and they sleep into 10:25, all right, that's unfortunate. Okay, but it's going to give them a little ding saying, hey, you got ELA coming up in 10 minutes. Okay, other thing that this does is that it shows when assignments are due. Okay, so I have a number of assignments that are coming due here shortly. Okay, so it's also on here. Okay, so it's just something to helps me organize. I'm a very all over the place person. Helps keep me on task. So something that may help your student as well. All right. Second thing is this is my classroom. Okay. And everything that we do, and this is actually something I've always used Classroom. I've used it for the last five or 6 years or so. Okay, but this year is more so, obviously. Okay. And one thing that is going to be a little bit different is everything is going to get graded on the Google Classroom and then is going to be uploaded onto MyStar from there. So if your student is struggling with Google Classroom for some reason, they're having trouble turning in an assignment, or they can't see it in a certain way. All right, whatever that is, please reach out to me because this is going to be extremely successful to our success. Do have it breaking up to categories, more categories to come. One thing that I want to talk to you about, and I will go into this a little bit more later, I think, is one of the big projects that we're going to be working on this semester is what we call a Genius Hour project. And I believe that some of the students did this in elementary school with one of their teachers. But this is something that we started in the spring in ELA 11. And we had a lot of success with it. Okay, and the whole idea behind Genius Hour is it's encouraging students to go out and to teach themselves, okay, to pursue something that they're passionate. And the goal that I want for my students, the things that I want them to gain from my ELA 11 class is I want them to gain the ability to be an independent thinker and an independent learner. Okay, so a quote that I very much like, I believe it's Immanuel Kant. He says that a student repays his teacher poorly by always remaining a student. All right, and that is my hope. I tell my students that they will always be my students. I'll always be there to help them. But it is my hope that one day they will be able to go beyond that and they won't need my help any longer. That they will be able to find the things that they want in life and they'll be able to pursue them without me. Okay, right now they're with me, and I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna help them every step along the way. Okay, but this Genius Hour project is designed around them choosing what they want to learn, the best way to learn it, and them to kind of teach themselves that. Okay, and then over the course of the semester, they are going to kind of share out the results that they got. All right, I would encourage you, please talk to your students about this. Okay, these are supposed to be things that they're incredibly passionate about. All right, so ask them, what are they planning on doing? What are they thinking about doing? All right, and even if they don't know, having that conversation is a good place to start into, because we're going to be spending a lot of time on this. Okay, so that's my Genius Hour project. All right, I want to go ahead here. This is something we start off every single day with. All right, and under normal circumstances, this is the information that would be typically on my board. Okay, so students would walk in, I would have the date. Okay, obviously it'd be under ELA 11. Okay, and we go through the first thing that we do, and this actually just started today. Okay, because I gave kids a couple of weeks to get their self-selected reading. But two things that they're going to do every day in my class. Okay, this is a promise to you. Two things that they will do every day in my class is that they will have an opportunity to read. They'll have an opportunity to write. Okay, I'm a firm believer, okay, that the best way to get better at reading and writing is to do it, and to do it a lot. Okay, so we'll usually have 10 to 15, sometimes only 5, depending on what we have going on that day, of the time for them to read their own book. All right, we go from that, we go right into our journal prompt. And again, okay, sometimes these have something to do with what we're learning in class that day. Sometimes I just pick something that's like an interesting thing to think about. So like today we talked about, if you could live any time and place or setting, what would it be? Okay, if you could live any character person's life, I should say life. Oh, it's okay, guys. I'm an English teacher. I do this for a living. All right, I too am human. All right, character's life. That also should be possessive. Look at me fixing stuff right in front of your eyes. Character's life. All right, who would it be and why? All right, again, it could be past, present, future, fictional. All right, so we spend 5 minutes a day doing this, and then we'll usually share it out. All right, so I'm gonna show you what this looks like. This is actually my journal. Anything that I ask the students to do, I do it right along with them. I have my book right over here that I read with them. Every time I give them a journal prompt, I do the exact same thing myself. All right, and especially since we're remote, okay? Especially since we're remote, it's a little bit more difficult for me to hold them accountable to that personal reading time. So something that I'm doing to hold them accountable to that is when we start our journal, okay? So again, every day they put the date, the time, all right? What we're gonna start doing is they're gonna start doing a reading log, all right? And this is gonna be really short, all right? So they'll put the book that they're reading, okay? In this case, some kids didn't have a book yet, so I allowed them to read an article or find something that they're interested with online, the author of it, and then a really short summary of it. Okay, so I'm reading These Truths by Jill Lepore, highly recommended it for any history buffs out there. And I just want them to give a quick bullet points as to what they read about today. Now, all right, I tell them this. They could fake this. They could definitely fake this. They could come up with some jibber jabber. Okay, they could come up with a book. They could go up on look at a synopsis online, put that in there. All right, and I quite possibly could be fooled. All right, it's my opinion that that's actually more work than just reading. It would be way easier just to read and then to just write down a couple of bullet points. Okay, so this is just kind of designed. It's a low stress way that I have of kind of keeping them accountable and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. All right, you will notice here, I actually have this assignment. They're going to turn this in once a month. Okay, so if on 9/16 they didn't do a reading log, then that's going to be a deduction of points. Okay, these reading logs are going to be big points you're going to notice. Okay, but they're going to be easy points because these are things that we are doing. I'm giving them time in class to do every single day. All right, so that's one thing that we do on a daily basis in my class is we will always read and we will always write. Okay, now to the strange part, okay? And I fully recognize that this is something that's a little bit odd, okay? But I also think it's something that I've done for the past 5 or 6 years. And I've had a number of students that have come back to me and said that it's something that's helpful to them. So I continue to do it, all right? And that's moment of Zen, all right? We spend 1 minute at the start of class every day doing mindful breathing. That's all we do. We sit, all right? I have a nice little Tibetan singing bowl here, all right? And we focus on our breathing. And the reason that we do this is that it is designed to give them 1 minute of the day where they're not putting input into their brain. They're not listening to music, watching a TV show, watching a YouTube video, being told to do a homework assignment, being told to do chores, working, doing all the things that our students do on a regular basis. It just gives them 1 minute to decompress. All right. And the value of that is that studies show us that an anxious brain struggles to learn. Okay. So this is us. If they have something going on outside my class that's stressing them out, okay, this is a place where we can kind of reset and get ready, get our mindset to do this. Okay. Now, I've never done this before, and I'm going to tell you, I'm a little nervous about it. Okay. But since this is something that we do on a daily basis, I want you to experience what this is. And I've asked actually if you have a second hour student with you, I asked them to watch this video with you. All right. And I would ask that they be my Zen ambassador because they do this on a regular basis. They know how to do it. If you would like to join along and do a moment of Zen with me, that would be great. You're more than welcome to do so. If it's not your thing, you don't want to, feel free to skip ahead about 90 seconds in this video and we'll continue on with the presentation. But we are going to show you, I'm going to show you what it's all about. All right, so we put our feet flat on the ground, our hands flat on the desk in front of us or on our lap, whatever's comfortable. Pull ourselves up nice and straight, not stiff, but regal, like you're sitting in a throne, like you have a crown on your head. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we're going to feel our body relax into our chair. For the next minute, all that we're going to do is focus on our breathing. So it's actually not possible to turn our brains off. Okay, we can't do that. But instead, we're just noticing as thoughts enter our head. So as we do get distracted, as you start to think about the fact that a grown man with a beard is hitting a Tibetan singing bowl and talking to you about breathing, you think that that's strange, that's totally fine. I would expect that from you. All right, but just notice that thoughts come into your mind, and then gently, whenever you're ready, return your energy and attention to your breathing and the reverberation of the. We're again in 3, 2, 1. When everybody is comfortable, reach back, take a deep breath, blow it out slow. And that's it. All right. I also think that this is something that is a really good life skill to have. It makes us more aware when we get distracted. It's been, as someone that suffers from ADD, not really suffer from it, I enjoy it. All right. Something that's helped me control my ADD. All right. So that's that. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay. Going on. This is something that I put up on a daily basis, a student growth goal. All right. So for today, we worked on personal narratives. Okay, so they're actually working on telling the origin story of their passion. Okay, so they need to tell me a specific event in their life, okay, that started their passion for whatever it is that they're planning on doing for their Genius Hour. So that might be fishing. Okay, that might just be some kids love learning. I have one student, love him. He's really interested in olives. Okay, and it's not that he's interested in olives; he just wants to know more about it. So he's passionate about knowing more about the world. We've got students that are passionate about music, sports, art, all these things. Okay, so they need to write a personal narrative saying how is it that they got passionate about that, and they need to kind of give vivid detail explaining. Okay, putting their audience into that mindset, putting them into that story, all encompassing. All right. So the student growth goal today was students be able to take free write and craft it into a rough draft for a personal narrative. So this is what we have at the beginning of the day, and this is actually more important in an online setting because I do have this up in my in-person classes. Okay, but I have a little bit better time like checking to see how students are comprehending things. If students have the student growth goal, they should be able to look at this at the beginning of the class, and they should be able to think to themselves, yeah, I do know how to do that. I did learn that today. Or they might say, I have no idea how to do that. All right. Okay. And if they do have no idea how to do that, they should reach out to me and so that we can figure out how it is that we can get them to that point so that they're on level. So that's one of those things that I'm trying to do to help them stay with where they're at. All right. Okay. So typically from here, I will have like my mini instruction part of the lesson. So today I was walking through the assignment, all right, where I was telling them how to do it, telling them all the requirements. I modeled it a little bit, like how to write a conclusion, because that's a very difficult part of it. And then students will typically go into the independent practice part of it. Okay, so after I explain it, they're going to go out. They don't actually have to be on screen with me, but I usually have this Google Meet open. And then if they have questions, they can pop in, they can ask their question, and then they can pop out again. All right. The idea is that I don't actually think it's productive to have them on screen talking to them for an hour and 50 minutes. Okay. Nobody learns that way. All right. So the idea is I teach them, they practice it themselves, they come back and they ask questions if they have it. That's the model that I've developed. It's been somewhat successful. Okay, this was a reminder I gave to students today. Okay, but it's good to talk about. Fridays we do something called Sentence of the Week. All right, and the idea with Sentence of the Week is this is my direct grammar instruction. Okay, it's embarrassing to say that when I went to college, I didn't know the difference between there, and there, and that is not in any way a reflection on my English teachers here at Allen Park High School. I am a graduate of APHS. Okay, they did a wonderful job. I was not a great student in high school. It is what it is. I'm a way better teacher than I am a student. I'll say that. All right. This is something that I do because I really think that it's important that we learn these basic rules of grammar. Not just because, they should know that it is Sam and I went to the movies, not me and Sam. Okay. That's not as important to me, but I truly believe that grammar is the subtext to how we communicate. And so it's my goal that if they have a better understanding of grammar and the subtext of our language, that they will be better communicators, and that'll ultimately make them more successful and a happier, healthier person. That's my view. All right. Okay. So that's basically how my classes run on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So coming back to this. All right. So some things that you can do to help me. And I'm gonna ask what I can do to help you in a second. And I have a Google form for that I'm gonna want you to fill out. And that's one of the ways you can help me. One way that you can help me, that we can help work together to help your student. And I know that not everybody is able to do this. I understand that we all have different situations. Some of you may have multiple children, multiple students trying to learn in your household. It's hard to find quiet, conducive space to doing that. But it is so important. It is so important that your student has a space that is conducive to learning. All right. Ideally, it's a space that will allow them to use their microphone and use their camera if they have access to those things. Also, ideally, they should have a desk where they can write. All right. I don't think it's a great idea to do Google Meets from a bed. All right. Bedroom's fine. Bed, not so much. All right. I would not work really well from my bed. That's why I'm in here in my classroom. Okay. This is where I work best. This is where my mind gets into the mindset of being a teacher the most. Okay. So maybe help your student setting up an area that can be conducive to their learning, that can help them be the best learner that they can possibly be. This may seem silly in times of Corona, but having a pen and a piece of paper is hugely important. And actually, in a lot of my assignments, they can handwrite them if they prefer, take a picture and upload it to the Google Classroom. But many times, I might just ask them to take down a few bullet points, and I will call on them to ask them to share out. Okay, so that's something that they can do. All right, having cameras on. All right, and here's my little spiel on why that's important. Okay, one is over the past 7 years, I've gotten really good at teaching children I can see. All right, I'm excellent at it. All right, I don't want to toot my own horn, but when I'm in my classroom and I see Timmy, all right, don't think I have any Timmy. So I'm not speaking of anyone specifically if I have a Tim, so I apologize. So I see Timmy, and they all of a sudden are going, all right, I know that I have said something to them that is confusing. All right, and I'm assuming that if Timmy is confused, and there's always a Timmy, there's always at least one kid that is like this, that there's other students that are also confused. And that way I'm able to back up, reteach it, clear up any confusions, and make sure that they know that. The other part about it is that it holds them accountable. Okay, I know I'm a 32-year-old man. When I am in video conferences, if my camera's off, I am way more likely to maybe wander over to my email. Okay, and maybe I wander over to that grading that I have to get done. All right. Okay. But the moral of the story is if my camera's off, I am much more likely to multitask and not to focus at the task at hand than if my camera is on and I know that people are looking at me. All right. Same thing is true with your students. All right. It's something that just helps them keep them accountable. Even if I'm not going to call them out on that, and I probably wouldn't, it's going to help them keep accountable to make sure that they're present, that they're active, that they're engaged in what's going on. All right. I will tell you, all right, right now, pause this video and ask your student if they have their camera on during my class. Okay, welcome back. Now, feel free to email me and ask me if that's true. I will tell you. I absolutely will tell you. Okay, I'm never going to make a student turn on their camera. I won't. I won't do it because I know that for some people that's really stressful to be on camera. I get it. I understand not everybody wants to broadcast where they live. I understand. Okay, but if they are able to, if it's something that is not a tremendous burden, it will help them learn more if they have their camera on in my class. And so small thing. The last thing is, and this is in the email that I sent with this YouTube video, I have a really short Google form. It is 4 questions. All right, and 2 of them are name and the name of your student. All right. The one that I'm really would like to know is what is your biggest concern about online learning for your student? All right, because I'm going to tell you this. All right, and maybe this has come through, maybe it hasn't, but I love my job. I'm very fortunate to be able to get up and do what I do on a day-to-day basis, and it is very important to me that I'm good at it. All right, it is very important to me that I'm able to help your student become a better practitioner of the English language. All right, and if there's a way that if there's something that's going on with online learning, and I know that there's lots of barriers to it, but if there's a barrier that I can address, I will, because I want them to get this material. I want them to gain the skills to be an independent, analytical thinker. All right. So please fill out that Google form. Let me know what your concerns are. If you have questions about anything I've said today or about maybe a way that something that your student needs to be successful, please email me. All right. I am available. I am here to help. That is what I do. All right. As I say to the students, that's why I get the big bucks. That's why I have the G-Wagon parked outside. All right. That's absolutely a joke. I drive a Chevy Trax. It's very affordable. But that's the joke that we have amongst our students. Okay. So that's my ELA classroom. I'm sorry if I took up too much of your time. I can be a bit of a talker, but these are all things that I think are important. If you do have any questions, please feel free to follow up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. And I hope that I'm able to see you in person sometime soon. Thank you.